Well, there are always developments with the Trump administration and many, many surprises. But I have to say that what I'm going to talk about right now is not a huge surprise to me. And it has to do with new green card rules 2025. James Martin here. I'm an immigration attorney practicing immigration law on a national level. I can practice immigration law in all 50 states. My office is located here in Sarasota, Florida. I'm happy to help you. Now, the title of this video really isn't that great because these really are not new green card rules. It's not like they went in and changed the law and they're just all these new rules. What it is it's a question of emphasis. All of these rules have existed in some way, shape, or form, but it's kind of like, is it going to be a rule that is really strictly enforced, or is it going to be kind of like the government is cutting you a little bit of slack? Well, we know that the president that we have doesn't cut anybody slack except for his friends and cronies in Washington. So let's break it down. What do you need to know about these new rules? And like I say, the new rules are the old rules, but they've just been repackaged a little bit. Let's talk about the public charge rule. The public charge rule basically is that you have to prove to the satisfaction of the government that once you become an immigrant, you will not become a ward or dependent on the state. The idea is we don't want to be bringing people into the United States who are going to require government assistance. That rule is probably as old as the immigration law itself, but the interpretation and the way it's put in effect is not the same with every administration, because what the administrations can do is they can make it just a little bit harder, just a little bit more difficult so that they can knock people out of the box. And that's kind of why you need someone who's staying on top of these rules and will help you with them. So the public charge rule, what are they going to do? Well, the administration wants to really kind of do background checks, make sure that people are not just marginally qualified. They want to make sure that they have the financial backing, that they will not fall into need with the U.S. government, and so they're going to look at sponsors, make sure that their income is high enough. They will probably do more background checks to make sure that everything falls in line in terms of what we're saying on the forms in terms of the income. They will probably go behind the scenes through computer checks to make sure that what is being said on the forms is backed up by government filings of tax returns, etc., etc. This all has to do with more background checks, more integration of databases, more. So it's going to become more technocratic, and it's going to be more exacting in terms of documentation. So if you're not sure about how these changes in the public charge will affect your case, please do not risk it, because cases can be at risk because of this change in the rules. Consult a legal professional. If you need our help, click on the link and we're here to help you. Now let's turn to the medical exam. The medical exam, again, is not anything new. It used to be, in the old days, people would come through Ellis Island and they would be standing in line and they would be examined by doctors, and they would tap their bones to see if they had good reflexes. They'd make them open their mouths. They would check for tuberculosis. They would check for all these transmissible diseases. Well, we've gone more high-tech and we send you to the doctor these days. Okay, that's the way it works. But, I mean, there was a scene from this in The Godfather. It was pretty cool, where everybody's lining up and it was like, out, and you know, who could stay, who had to go. We're more high-tech, we're more sophisticated with it. We have blood tests, we have all kinds of things that we do. That really hasn't changed. But what has changed is the timing of filing the medical, and it seems that the government is always innovating with that. They want it at the beginning of the case, they want it in the middle of the case, they want it at the end of the case. And we just have to stay on top of this and figure out when, where, and how they want it. Because if you give them the wrong form, if it's an expired form, or it's any of the above, they can deny your case. So what you want to do is you want to be sure that you are presenting this form, the medical form, at the proper time, and that it is the proper form. Again, if you need help with this, one tip I would tell you is when the doctor gives you the sealed envelope with the medical form, ask for a copy of the form before it's sealed up so that your legal professional can look at it and just give a look over and make sure it's right. Because if you don't and it's wrong and they deny the case and you lose your fees and you have to file over again, it's just really complicated. My favorite, employment-based. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave, and we have the doors open for everybody, right? Wrong. It's not that way right now. So the idea is that when we are bringing people in as immigrants under the employment-based categories, the government wants to bring in workers who are going to bring something to the United States. It could be an extraordinary ability, foreign national, it could be a multinational executive, transferee, or it could be someone who's kind of in a shortage category, such as nurses or people for whom there's just not enough workers, occupations for which there are not enough workers. But also the government is very sensitive to these job offers being what we call bona fide, being real jobs. They don't want them just to be mere accommodations between employers and employees. And so they are going to be doing more and more background checks on both the employee and the employer. So what does that mean for you? It means that you can anticipate that if you are sponsored for a position, the government is going to go back into the background and you won't even see it. They'll go into their own records, they'll go into whatever, they'll look at websites, they'll go kind of behind the scenes and they will do background checks on the employer. And they will also, and I have seen this, they will go into old visa applications. And if you list an employer that's not listed on a prior visa application, they may allege that you committed fraud and you didn't tell them the truth about your past employment history. Now, that's not the end of the story because a lot of people don't put every single thing on an application, but you better have an explanation for it and proof of what you're talking about. So be very careful in this regard as well. Marriage-based and family cases, that is really the backbone of immigration law. The idea is to keep families together legally. That is notwithstanding any of these enforcement policies that we're seeing today, which seem to be tearing families apart. So marriage cases, family-based cases, will be subject to extra background checks. They will be looking for your digital footprint. So if you marry somebody and then go spend a great weekend at the beach with somebody else and post it all over Facebook, it's not going to go well for you. The government has mandated that its employees go look at a person's digital footprint and to see whether what they are saying is in fact the truth. So there are two ways you can rectify this. The first way is just be honest because you have to. That's the obligation of the law. But the other thing is limit your exposure through social media. Know what you put up. Know what could be misconstrued because you may do something completely innocent, but it may look kind of fishy to a government official. I would say that a good idea would be to limit your postings, your social media presence, your digital footprint. But don't guess. Work with an immigration professional so that we can maximize your chances of getting your case approved. So in summary, what should you be doing right now? Well, the first thing is, if you qualify for an immigration benefit, now is the time to move. Don't wait. Things are moving very quickly with this administration. The administration has a strategy of flooding the field. What does that mean? They're going to overwhelm us with changes in the coming months and years. So file for what you're qualified for. The other thing is stay informed. Don't be taken by surprise. Finally, get professional help. These forms are not just a question of filling out forms and putting data in forms. These forms have legal consequences. They have real life consequences. And if mistakes are made, they can have real life consequences and end up getting you removed from the country. It's very serious stuff, especially now that the rules of the game have become much stricter. And what would I say to you about processing timeframes? You will be speaking with legal professionals, and they will do their very best to give you the known processing timeframes. But if past performance is any indication of future performance, then you just need to realize that all of this chaos in the system is probably going to slow things down. Now, in some cases, like marriage cases, if there are long delays, that may not bode well for the case. That could be an indicator, could be a red flag. But what I tell everybody is we simply do not know in these cases where there's a delay in processing, whether that's bad news or the case just happens to be sitting longer with one of the examiners. But the way to have peace of mind is to go with a competent, ethical, caring legal professional to get your case formatted and prepared in the way that the government is looking for it to be done to maximize your chances of success. That's where we come in. We try to do our very best, we try to stay informed, and we deal with these issues every single day. We work with other attorneys. We talk to other attorneys about the developments in the case. We share information, not your information, but processing information, so that we can maximize your chances of getting a good result. We're here to help you out because these cases are not impossible to do. The thing about it is you have to understand something. As radical as it seems right now with the Trump administration, nobody in the Trump administration is saying that they just want to eliminate immigration. They want to make it in a way that it is honest in their eyes, that it's an integral process. Now, I have profound disagreements with the way they're doing it, but nobody's really talking about shutting down immigration. So let's do your case the best we can. Let's get it in. Let's get it in competently. Let's do our very best. Let's get you your residence. We're here to help. The worst thing you can do in 2025 is to apply with old information. God knows it's hard enough to stay on top of this field. Don't apply with old information. If you want help with your case, if you'd like to break it down, if you'd like to get a consultation and see where you stand, that is the first step based upon the newest, latest information, and we can help. Click on the link below. We'll do our best to get back to you, and we'll help you out. Have a great day.